Hey guys, this is Russell from Green Swamp Herpetological. Going to just highlight some of the hatchlings we've had so far this year. So far, 4 clutches have hatched. Let me make sure my count's right. Yeah, 4 clutches so far have hatched. I'll just go through them real quick. The first one was a pairing of a pastel clown to a pastel het clown. So if you're not too familiar with genetics, I'll go over that a bit later when I'm showing them off. Second, we had a pair of double het axanthic genetic stripes. Actually, the female's a possible het axanthic. She did not prove out. She definitely had genetic stripe, though. I did get a genetic stripe in the clutch. Next we had a pairing of pastel leopard spark to a pastel yellow belly, and the final clutch that hatched. Hold on. I'm on the. I got out of order. So I also had a clutch of. Maybe I've had 5 hatch. Yeah, I have, because there was 3 in one day. Had a clutch of the same pastel clown male that sired the first clutch to a lesser spider female that was possible het clown. She did indeed produce some clowns, so she is 100% het. Shouldn't say 100% het. That makes it sound as though there's varying degrees. She's heterozygous clown. And then the final clutch was a pair of double het VPI axanthic piebalds. Small clutch, female mostly slugged out, 2 eggs. That was the one we did the live stream on Hatch. So, we'll go ahead and pull out some of these. We'll start with the first clutch. So we had 3 babies in this one. That was a small clutch as well. I think I had some slugs in there. So we'll start with basic. So this is probably one of the most basic things you can get in here. I'm not going to really handle them much because they are needing to eat after their sheds, so I will kind of unbury them though. So this is what a typical pastel ball python looks like. This one's pretty bright. This one's het clown because the sire was clown, so bred to another clown. You'll make statistically half clown offspring. That's basically the definition of a heterozygous animal in a recessive mutation. It has 1 copy of the mutant allele of that particular gene and then 1 copy of the wild type or normal. So in that case, doesn't look any different from what a normal would be, except this one has pastel in it, which is a different gene affecting that color. So, that is that. With this one was a male. And yeah, like I said, not going to handle them too much. I've got them on the cocoa husk and with water, and they're in a rack with heat in the back. So moving on up one from that, in the clown talk, we have a female pastel clown. Same as Daddy. She's pretty cool. May keep her, probably gonna sell most of the clown stuff I hatched this year and maybe buy a different clown combo that I don't have already. Sorry, my lighting's a little yellow and dark. I'm trying not to cast a shadow on that, but it's difficult. So, clown gives it a funky pattern. Really funky pattern. Pastel gives it a more yellow appearance than a normal one. And this is your visual recessive. So, she's pretty cool. Now, the last one from that clutch is a male killer clown, which is also just a super pastel clown. So, super pastel is the homozygous form of pastel, meaning has 2 mutant pastel alleles on the particular gene that the pastel mutation occurs. Basically, it's a more intense version, lighter and more intense blushing, lighter blushing than regular pastel. So, super pastel clown, homozygous pastel, homozygous clown. If it was heterozygous clown, it wouldn't appear to be clown. The phenotype would not change from the wild type in that particular aspect. It would still look like a super pastel, which I think I have one somewhere handy. I do. Just a moment. Set this down here. A little bigger, but that's a super pastel, which in this lighting he looks not that great. You can see next to a regular pastel, he does have a bit of a lighter color on the dark spots. God, it's hard in this light. See, the blacks are more intense on the pastel. His are more of a faded color, and his head is going to be more faded as well. That's your main tell, especially when they get older and they start browning out a little bit. His blushing's more intense. That's flames and stuff. Flames are on the side, blushing's on the back. And then to compare her head to his, she does have a particularly light head for a regular pastel, but you can see he's got way more blushing than she does, and she's one. She also has kind of a black back appearance to her, so she's a little bit different from him. But yeah, so that's pastel. That's a super pastel. Again, I need some better lighting in this room so you can really see the difference, but yeah. We'll put them away just a moment. Sorry about that. So that was just kind of an exercise to give an idea of the difference in phenotypes between a homozygous and heterozygous pastel and super pastel respectively. No, opposite respectively. And we can just do a little comparison side by side too of these guys. So pastel clown on the right, super pastel clown on the left. You can see he's lighter. Funny thing about him, he did not have a first shed. Have had this happen once before. Everybody else went in the shed and he didn't go into the cycle. He still got a sheen to him. Last time it happened, next scheduled shed out normally, no problems. So we'll hang on to him until that happens, just to make sure there's no issues. But it's kind of unusual. I don't expect it to be a problem. He seems to be pretty healthy otherwise. We'll get these guys eating soon, hopefully, and get the two others to new homes. Alright, so next clutch was a clutch from a pair of, male is heterozygous axanthic and genetic stripe. Female is heterozygous axanthic, 50% chance. 50% chance. Sorry, she's het genetic stripe for sure. 50% het possible chance, whatever, het axanthic. So didn't hit any axanthics in the clutch, unfortunately. I was really hoping, but didn't do it. The one thing I did hit that's different from a normal ball python is a genetic stripe. You can see, so typically this mutation will have bilateral striping down the entire length of the body. The line of genetic stripes I've been working with originated from Exotics by Nature, Sean Bradley. And just the female had a funky look, faded and busted up pattern. I liked it a lot. Just because it was a little bit different. I thought it was pretty cool, so that's why I bought her, and I kind of bred her into my stuff. So Hopefully next year I'll have a silver one of these guys with a busted up stripe down the back. Especially with pastel in it, that can affect the pattern as well. I do have pastel in that pairing on 2 of the females I'm working with. Actually, hopefully later this year one of them drops some eggs, and that would be nice to hit a pastel axanthic genetic stripe. Okay, so remaining members of this particular clutch were all normal looking possible double hets. Yeah. I don't even know if I sexed them. So I'll just lay them all out and scan over them. So these guys will have a 66% chance of being het genetic stripe because I did het to het for certain. And then a 50% chance of being het axanthic, only because the female hasn't proved out as a het. So if you breed 2 hets together, your normal looking offspring will be 2/3 on average heterozygous. So you basically have 1 in 4 will be normal, completely normal, nothing different with them. 2 out of 4, on average, this is, by the way, will be heterozygous, but because it's a recessive mutation, they look normal. So you basically can't really prove them out heterozygous unless you breed them. So until then, when you prove for sure, you call them 66% chance hets. The other 1/4 is your visual recessive, like that genetic stripe we had out a minute ago. And then in the case of breeding het to het, which I kind of did both of these pairings in one animal with just 2 different mutations, half the babies on average will be normal, half will be het, therefore 50% chance of being heterozygous until you breed them and prove them out for sure. Most of the time, people don't even advertise the animals as possible hets. They just sell them as normals because it doesn't really increase their value as possible hets unless you're dealing with something crazy expensive. Not too many things left anymore that are really that high price range. Maybe something like Sunset is about all I can think of. There's a couple other recessive mutations, I guess. They're kind of newer price range. So anyway, that was the second clutch that hatched. And then the next 3 clutches were a little ridiculous because they were all hatching at the same time. Well, all were due hatched at the same time. The last one kind of took some extra days, which was cool because it gave me time to set up a live stream of the actual hatch. So next we have, oh, this one was cool. So I bred a pastel leopard spark to a pastel yellow belly female. So my best guess on this particular animal is we're looking at a yellow belly. Doesn't look too different from a normal to the untrained eye. It does have a little bit more blushing, a little bit brighter color. They pop a little more. But yeah, it's either a yellow belly or a spark. I'm leaning yellow belly because just looks like a yellow belly to me. It looks like a pretty nice yellow belly, actually. So 2 yellow bellies bred together can make ivories as their super/homozygous animal. That is basically a white snake with yellow striping down the back. I do have a couple of them. Let me see. The best one I can get is a little bit big. She's easy access, though. One moment while I grab her. I'm I'm not going to grab her because she's ovulating. I will, however, grab her brother. So he's going to want to move around a bunch, I think. That's an ivory. This guy, he's got a little bit of mulch on him. Sorry about... Oh, snippy. So... Little yellow belly's trying to bite my hand. So, breeding 2 yellow bellies together, you can make these guys, which you can't really see the yellow striping down the back anymore as they get bigger, but it's still present slightly. This was actually orange belly line, which can make graphite, so the female actually has a small amount of graphite on her. So, you can see he's got kind of this faded thing going on his head. Can't really see it too well on my phone, but hopefully it looks better on a bigger screen. And then, yeah, I can see him. I can see it with my eyes, the yellow, but I don't know about on the phone, well, on the screen. But yeah, he's pretty cool. Ivory. So, anyway, everything from that that particular gene has multiple different mutations, different alleles, if you will, of it, which is the correct term. So all these allelic animals produce different variations of darkness in the what you would, people call it like acts like super. It's a heterozygous compound animal, meaning that it's heterozygous because the 2 copies of the gene are different just from each other, but neither one is wild type or normal, so looks funky usually. These ones kind of theme around bilateral striping on varying degrees of darkness for the animals. So you got the darkest one that ever existed was called Ebony. I don't believe that animal is alive anymore. Next darkest probably is going to be your Spectre, or your when-bred to a yellow belly. It was called Super Stripe, the resulting animal. Sorry, I should hold the phone. From there, oh, you can see this one's a little feisty. Next is probably your asphalt, or what's the other? Gravel, which make highways and freeways. Other way around, freeways and highways respectively, when bred to yellow bellies. I think they're the same thing, but other people seem to think they're different, so they look pretty damn similar to me. Then lighter yet is going to be your Spark, which is what I'm working with. That makes pumas when bred to yellow belly. I think there was one other lighter one too that might have just been a very colorful ivory, but it could have been something different. I think it was called like Sunshine or Sun something. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I don't think it was too different from ivory. Puma's actually, I mean, pretty light on its own. But so I'm gonna go put this guy away so I can move around a little bit easier with the next one. So just be a second. You can see this one's, oh, it's climbing after me almost. So sometimes you have to deal with this with babies. If you handle them, they're fine, but I don't want to handle it too much because I want to get them feeding right. So you can see he's just kind of watching the heat source and like, yeah, don't mess with me. All right, next in line, this one's pretty cool. If I keep any of them, it might be this girl, depending, because this was my friend Chad, who owns Metal Morphs, owns the male in this clutch, so we gotta figure out how we want to split it. So yellow belly's kind of a throwaway, especially a male, so that one's not really going to count, but it comes down to are we going to split it monetarily or each of us get an animal. It's not a very even split if each of us gets an animal, because the other one in here is pretty cool. But this is going to be a super pastel. I think it's leopard and spark. I'm not 100% though. I haven't done anything. This is the first clutch of sparks I've had, so I don't have as much experience with it. It's definitely not a super pastel yellow belly though. I have hatched a couple of those. I don't believe it's one of them. Still, this is a. I think it was female. It's giving me trouble with the peens popping it. So at first I thought I had it. I thought it popped male, but I guess I was wrong because it popped female last time. So I might have to probe it to be 100%. We'll try popping it again after it's eaten, make 100% sure. But for now, I've got it marked as a female, which would be nice because it'd be ideal to keep because I don't have leopard or spark in my collection. So yeah, got plenty of pastel though. But yeah, get a little bit better color up here, closer to the light. In fact, I might get another light going because the next one's pretty cool. So I'm just gonna set this down for a second and it's gonna go black, but that's okay. And of course I don't have a plug to access easily. I guess we're stuck with the lighting I've got, unfortunately. Next time I'll try and get something rigged beforehand. I got here a little bit later than I wanted to, so I had to start the stream a couple minutes late. So, where were we? Okay. I think... yeah, this one. This thing is cool. This... notice I'm keeping it away. So, this is either... here you go. We have here... it's definitely a puma. Definitely leopard, which breaks the pattern up like crazy. And it's either pastel or super pastel. I'm going to move this water thing so we can get a little bit better look at this animal. Because this thing's pretty spectacular. So, look at the color and pattern on this animal. Just unreal. Absolutely killer. Focus correctly. Wants to focus on the furthest thing away. It's the most annoying thing, and I can't tell it to focus closer. Okay, well, here we go. This thing is awesome. That's all I can say about it. Probably in terms of like just how ridiculous the pattern is, one of the coolest things I've ever hatched. So very happy to have him. Not sure what Chad's going to want to do with it. We probably will end up selling him though. So someone will be very happy with this guy. Pretty freaking cool. It's amazing what leopard does to these. Mainly puma, because I think the super stripe I saw actually had pretty solid striping. Like, so I'll have to play with that sometime because I do have some super stripe stuff, which actually why not show it one off. So as far as your yellow belly gene, which people call it a complex, whatever, it's one gene with multiple different mutations. So I'm also working with Spectre on top of Spark. And I hatched a pretty cool one of those last year. Or, yeah, it was, I think it might have been 16. So, and this one's a little big for this tub. I need to move him up. But this is a pastel, possible entry super stripe. You can see a little bit darker markings. It's hard to compare it to that one because that one's just so different with the leopard. But yeah, and this one did shed, so I'm going to get rid of that. But yeah, this animal's pretty cool. I like that one a lot. That's why I've held on to him. Yeah, we'll get him bumped up in a bigger tub here after the stream, I think. He's grown pretty quick. He should be able to breed relatively soon. I'll have to breed him to yellow bellies because unfortunately it's really hard to tell a super stripe and a super spectre apart. I don't have a female spectre to breed him to either, so that kind of affects what I can pair him to as well. All right, final, not final, semi-final. The final clutch they still haven't shed out, but we do have a pairing of pastel clown to lesser spider het clown female. She was a possible het. She proved out. It was freaking awesome. So we did get another pastel het clown. I'll hold it up here. I get better lighting up closer to me, so. And I've noticed the pastel het clowns are pretty bright, so might just be luck. I don't know, but wow, I wish this would focus correctly. Let me see if. Well, anyway, it doesn't want to focus on the closest thing to it, which is so annoying. But yeah, that's just another pastel het clown. I already went over the genetics, so if you missed that, you can. Well, nobody's in here, but you can scroll earlier in the video if you need a rehashing of that. And then we had two pastel lesser het clowns. These are all males so far, by the way. I only got one female. I've been low on females this year. So, lesser lightens up the pastel, widens up the pattern. Works well with stuff like Enchi, Clown, Ghost even. Sometimes works well with the darker mutations. GHI it works very well with stuff like that. I don't have any GHIs, but I need to try and pick something up soon. So here's the other one. This one's a little lighter, at least the lighting's better on it right now. So you can get an idea of what it does to the color. And these are het clowns, so that's cool. Pastel lesser clown is pretty awesome looking. Yeah, pastel lesser Enchi is really cool too. I have one of them. As I was saying, Enchi plays well with your lesser stuff. I'm gonna just get her out. So, just kind of a side note. This is a pastel lesser Enchi. She's also het ghost, so that's a yearling as well. So pretty cool. Enchi is awesome. Enchi gives it this crazy head stamp, and she's not used to being messed with so much. So yeah, you get like a clover head stamp with pastel and Enchi. So, but yeah, look at the colors on that thing. That's just nuts. So yeah. Okay. So that was my little side note. Okay, so we'd had my two pastel lessers. Oh yeah, we're on to the good stuff now. There was only five babies. So, definitely for certain, we have a bumblebee clown, which pretty cool. This is female. I'm gonna be hanging on to a male with spider in it, a male clown with spider in it. So don't think I'm gonna be keeping her. She's gorgeous though. Someone's gonna be really happy with her. I mean, it's kind of subtle, the clown, but she's gorgeous. Like, just a good looking animal all around. And clown can make some really cool stuff. There's a lot of cool stuff. Devitt Northern Regis has made some stranger stuff with clown, which looks freaking cool. Enchi clown stuff's nice. Justin Kobelka's made some really cool clown stuff with Spot Nose. I've got Spot Nose I need to work into the clown stuff as quickly as possible. So, actually I can work some Spot Nose ghost stuff into the clown. That'll be really cool. But yeah, so that's a bumblebee, a pastel spider clown for certain. So her brother, I thought at first, because he's just looks so different, I thought he had lesser in him as well, which he could, because he's just a lot lighter. I'm going to keep an eye on her in the background. And of course, it's like focusing laser sharp on her and not at all on him, which is just obnoxious. So he is definitely a bumblebee clown. Might be lesser. I'm going to hang on to him and breed him to find out. Looks like he is getting lighter, which is a good sign for the lesser. We'll put him a little bit closer to the ground so we can focus better. So you can kind of see that he is lighter than her. Maybe he lightens up a whole bunch over the course of a year. Oh, I have a viewer. Hello. Who's there? Say hi in chat. Maybe he lightens up a bunch. That'd be nice. Because that would mean for sure lesser. But for now, he's a bumblebee clown. Possible lesser there. So I'll have to breed him and find out in a couple of years when he's big enough. So yeah, these guys are pretty cool. Oh, hey. So, where'd you find this stream from? Or what name other than that would I recognize you as? So, but yeah, these are both a couple different mutations, clown being a recessive mutation, and then both have pastel and spider in them. The left one might have something else called lesser in them. Okay, cool. Yeah, so you're from nearby. Whereabouts do you live? Because we're in South Lake County, kind of Claremont Groveland area. And yeah, since you just popped in, I can pull out some of the cooler ones. Okay, yeah, mascot's not far at all. Yeah, that's cool. But yeah, so we'll pop these guys back in. I'll pull back out some of the other highlights to show you. Oh, I got another viewer. All right. So now that I'm about wrapping it up, I'm gonna have to show off everything else. So I did the live stream of the hatching about a week ago now. I had the pairing of double het axanthic genetic stripe, or not genetic stripe, sorry, I got clutches confused. This was double het axanthic piebald, VPI line axanthic, by the way. Only got 2 eggs because the clutch mostly slugged out. But yeah, so this is the 2 that were on the live stream of hatching. Again, the lighting is not the best. Yeah, which one were you watching? Were you watching when both were still in the egg, or just the second one? But yeah, so this one, the axanthic, was the first one to come out of the egg. These guys haven't shed yet, so... You can see that it's axanthic next to the other one, but the lighting's pretty yellow in this room, so, yeah. But the axanthic, I think, came out fairly quickly. I think that one was out Friday, and then the normal was out Sunday. And yeah, when the normal, the one on the right, came out, it maybe took 10 minutes cruising around the tub, and then went right under the camera. And it was sitting under the camera when I got here. So, but yeah, so these guys, left is axanthic, obviously, right's normal phenotype. Both of them. The one had the face out, and I couldn't tell what it was. Oh, I love axanthics. That's what I originally talked to you about a few years ago. Yeah, I've had a lot of axanthic projects, kind of in the works, mostly recessive stuff. I've been working on axanthic genetic stripe stuff for a while, just haven't got lucky with it. I showed that clutch earlier. I bred a double het to a female het axanthic, possible het, het genetic stripe, possible het axanthic. This baby doesn't realize it's upside down. So I only got one genetic stripe in the clutch. The female didn't prove out had axanthic, so but yeah, I need to get some of them going. I also have one clutch of double het caramel albino axanthics in the incubator, and another female that's more than likely going to give me a later clutch. Yeah, it was acting like that. I think it just got a little bit disoriented. Kind of weird. But yeah, we'll put these ones away. So, but yeah, I like the axanthic stuff. It's pretty cool. Let's see. So, probably the coolest thing I've hatched out so far, which I've already showed in the video or in the stream, but I'm gonna show it again because you're here. This thing, which is, you've probably seen the picture of it if you're following the Facebook, but this is either a pastel or super pastel leopard puma. So that was from a pairing of a pastel leopard spark to a pastel yellow belly. So this thing's pretty cool. But yeah. And then other than that, you probably didn't see the other clown stuff, so I'll pull out... not that one. Well, okay, so I don't know if I'm going to save it, mainly because the pastel leopard spark sire belongs to my friend Chad at Metal Morphs. And I haven't really had time to talk with him yet about how we're going to split the clutch up. So he might want to keep it. I don't know. It'd probably be easier for both of us to sell it just because it'd be easier to split the clutch that way monetarily with because this one skews it a little bit high on its end. But that's just something I'll have to talk with him about. But if anyone keeps it, it's going to be him. I'm not going to be able to keep this one. But I do have another female pastel yellow belly that's for sure gravid from the same male, so might be able to make another one. Or even one, maybe it's so hard to tell whether this one's just pastel or super pastel. I don't have really any benchmarks to compare it to. I've seen one other pastel leopard puma ever, so... But hopefully we get some more cool leopard puma stuff in that clutch, and that'll make it a little bit easier to split things up too with Chad. So okay, the one from that clutch that I would like to keep and breed, if any, is actually this one. So this one is a super pastel, I think leopard, and I think spark. Might just be spark. I don't think it's yellow belly. I've hatched a couple super pastel yellow bellies, and it doesn't look like them. And the lighting makes everything look dark in here, so I apologize for that. But yeah, this I think leopard because it is a little dark for a super pastel, and then this bar of dark up by the head, like on the neck. You know where my thumb was going. That looks like the sire, so... But I'll have to get some opinions on this one to be 100% certain. Yeah, it is pretty dark lighting. If I had better lighting in here, you'd see it's actually kind of light. But yeah, that was pretty cool. So, the other thing I'll show you from so far this year, which is, one second, this one, and that's a killer clown or a super pastel clown. It's just easier to show people on the light. So this is a male super pastel clown. Because I hatched the bumblebee clown stuff, I'm probably gonna let this one go. And then also I got a female pastel clown in this clutch, so I'll probably sell both of them and maybe pick up a different clown combo female to add to collection. Yeah, and this lighting doesn't do it justice. I'll show you the pastel clown next to it to compare. So, try not to handle these guys too much because I haven't eaten. So that's a pastel clown next to it to compare. So, yeah, they're pretty cool. And these were from a pastel clown male to a pastel het clown female. So, yeah, once these guys start eating, I'll be able to do some more videos. I'm going to be posting some photos I took with my DSLR camera of all these guys, so they'll be pretty good quality photos. I'll be getting posted up here sometime this weekend, hopefully. Just got to crop them and stuff. But yeah, I love clown stuff. There's a lot of cool stuff going on. Thank you, yeah. I got pretty lucky with my first few clutches this year. Second one was kind of a bomb with the het genetic stripe and the xanthic stuff, but I still got one genetic stripe in the clutch. But yeah, I got... it was cool because the first egg that pipped was that killer clown, and it was the best possible combo in the clutch, so that was really nice. Yeah, so... And then this one was just a genetic stripe from, it's possible het xanthic. Yeah, so... Again, it's got a pretty busted up pattern. I like that in a genetic stripe. I like the crossing over on the back instead of just the bilateral striping. So they're pretty cool. Yep. Let's see, what else can I show off? I can show something from last year. Let's see what... but yeah, so I bred double het xanthic genetic stripe to het genetic stripe, possible het xanthic female. She didn't prove out in this particular clutch of 5 eggs. But that doesn't necessarily mean she won't prove out. It just means I might have had some really bad luck. Not holding my breath for her to prove out, but we'll see. I've got 2 other pastel females that are possible het xanthic, and they are 100% het genetic stripe. Yeah, they are. One of them I actually did prove out het xanthic, now that I remember looking at my notes on their tubs. So let's see, what else can I show? So that was basically every clutch from this year. Let's show you something from last year that's pretty cool. I just gotta find it. Okay, here's one of my favorites from last year, and she sheds, so she's looking pretty good right now. So this is an Enchi spot nose female that's het ghost, and I saw this combo first. Let's see, probably about 4 or 5 years ago at Daytona at Bill Galloway's table. I was helping him out. I tried so hard to talk him out of that animal, but he wouldn't let me get it, so I had to go make my own. But yeah, Enchi and spot nose work incredibly together. This is just an exceptional example. And she's het ghost, so that's awesome. I can't wait to breed her into some stuff with like lesser in it. I have a super Enchi pastel het ghost male I'm probably going to breed to her, but I'm only a little bit concerned about doing that because pastel and Enchi spot nose doesn't really work as good together as this does. So I hatched 3 actually, this with pastel in it, and it's just, I think it looks better without pastel. So this one's sister with pastel in it. I mean, it just the character, like the light colors on the side, you don't get that with the pastel one. You get a lighter head and just more of a solid yellow animal. So Still cool, but I think it's cooler without. And these were both females. That was actually a really good clutch because I have a really big spot nose female. So, yeah, this is kind of going into stuff from last year. I'll probably go over more of these guys in a different stream. Probably gonna wrap it up here because I've got to go clean some snake cages. But yeah, I mean, this one almost looks like it has calico in it. Just all right. Yeah, I agree. The top one is better. I'm gonna wrap it up here though, because I've kind of showed everything I was intending to, and I need to go clean some snake or some rat cages. So, thanks for watching. If you're catching this later on YouTube, you can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/GreenSwampHerp, Facebook and Instagram as well. Both of those are GreenSwampHerp as well, and then obviously on YouTube. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll get another video probably sometime next week. Take care.